Good morning. We're welcome back here. We have Bob Boos on the line. He has a comment that he wants to make about the Logan County Fair. Go ahead, Robert.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about it. I remember a lot of things about the fair. Irwin's showing at the fair. You know, they still have one of the only dairies left in the county. That's a tremendous thing right there. They show a lot of schools. They have tours out there and everything, and they talk about a lot of different important things going on, and that's one of them. So, but the fair is tremendous to everybody as far as kids go. This morning, my son and I are going to Greenhaven and getting a goat checked so we can have it at the fair this week. So, you know, we're having a lot of fun with it.
Bob, we thank you. Go ahead, Dave. You might want to say something to Robert.
Well, the Irwins have been there a long time, and I know the Booses have been there a long time too. So we're tickled to have everybody there, and look forward to see all the exhibitors next week.
Thank you so much for calling, and your tickets will be in the mail, and you can go on August 5th, Friday night, and see Lone Star.
Checks in the mail. You've heard that before from the state of Illinois, Bob.
But we're honest.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
So. Thanks very much. Appreciate the call.
Bye-bye.
All righty. We were talking about the showing of livestock and so forth. And anyway, my two boys, Greg and Jeff, showed some lambs that we owned through association with Lynn D. Gilchrist many years back. And they won the blue ribbons, and of course they were pretty excited. They weren't very excited about all the work that went along with it. Again, that's part of the work ethic that you have to instill in these kids.
That's right.
You're glad to see them get out there and work at that. Which brings the point to mind. I said the other day, last week I believe, political correctness business, absolutely stupid. Comment on this, if you will, because I heard it by a major broadcaster, that he understands that some of the county fairs have done away with the awarding of grand championships and blue ribbons and so forth because somebody might get their little psyche hurt.
Yeah.
And that would be just terrible, wouldn't it?
Well, you got to understand that you're not going to win them all, and that's
what life is, David.
And that's that's a hard thing to teach kids, but everybody wants little Johnny to win every time, but when you get older in life, that's not what's going to happen. So we haven't subscribed to that yet. We still have blue ribbons, and we still have trophies, and everybody gets recognized. Everybody works just as hard as the next person out there, and it does take a lot of work to get these animals ready. So
and they all have to come. He was mentioning getting the certificates. They all have to have certificates saying that they're not sick.
That's right. That's something that the state of Illinois, all the farms that these animals come off of have to be registered now with the state of Illinois, and vet checks are required and that sort of thing. So there's a lot more to it, and that goes back to the money thing I was talking about too. It's not cheap to do
I'd like to get back into that money business. As a banker and a farmer and a board member, I'm sure that's kind of uppermost in your mind. Now, the state has been. I worked in the fair office. Gosh, well, with W.G. Coburn and Will Lehman. Now, what does that tell you?
Well, that's been a while.
It's been a little bit, and it was a wonderful experience. I enjoyed every minute of it, and I worked with some really neat people out there. And at that time, and I think it was 25 years ago.
Oh, I'm sure.
That we were talking about the state and funding, and especially as it pertained to the horse racing. And it's just not ever ended. Here we are 25 years later, and you've got the same worries.
Yeah.
Now, what other funding is there? How much funding has been cut? You mentioned that they really cut over at the DeWitt County Fair in Farmer City.
Well, they cut the horse races out, and the horse races take a lot of money to put on, the purses and everything else associated with that. But there's help for the horse races from the state, just like the premiums for the exhibitors down, the premiums that we pay for the livestock shows. but it's all money, and the fact of the matter is the state keeps cutting it, and so it's just getting tougher and tougher. We're a not-for-profit organization, the Logan County Fair Association is, so when the state cuts us and when we aim to keep our premiums up to keep the exhibitors there, then we just have to work that much harder at trying to come up with other sources of revenue to keep the place going. And there are winter storage out there that's a source of revenue. There's signs on the fences facing really all corners of the fair, all 4 fences of the fair. If a certain business or somebody wants to promote something, we charge a little bit to hang a sign on the fence out there. That's a source of revenue. We have several shows throughout the year, cattle shows, campers. You may see campers out there on Labor Day or something. Those people come in and they pay a little bit of money to camp there, and any kind of outings. The buildings are rented. Mike Moskey has a lot of auctions. Dan White has some auctions. I think there's several people that have auctions out there at the fair, so the buildings are there to use, as well as the racetrack. We have a deal with the racetrack there that they pay us a certain amount of money for that a year. So all of those things have helped us keep going. And
you still board horses there too?
Jim Austin has some race horses out there. Yes, he trains on the track there. That's not near as prevalent as it once was. Used to be able to go out there when I was younger and see horses training all the time. That's what the other cuts that the state has made. The horse racing industry has suffered very much so from the gaming bill, this ag bill right now. That could help things immensely if they allowed casinos and racetracks to have casinos. But I'm not going to get on either side of that political fence. I just know that if that got through, then the horse racing industry, I think, would benefit greatly.
The standardbred industry is they're not enjoying tough times. It's really, for instance, over there at Farmer City, losing that, and it's kind of too bad. Because back in, quote, its day, that really kind of represented a rural Americana, so to speak. And they would pack the stands at the Logan Cat, all the fairs, to watch the pacers and the trotters to do their business. And that was a great afternoon of entertainment.
You bet. And
the Society Horse Show. There again, that's demise. It is here.
I've got a lot of memories from the horse races. I've always been interested in them since I was a kid, so I've got to know some of the people in that industry, and it was a lot of fun. Stand there in the fence and have a little quarter bet or something with your buddies on which horse is going to win. And one of the things that I switch gears here a little bit, but a few years ago, we had the old grandstand there for years and years, and I've got a picture of it in my kitchen at home that somebody gave me of the old grandstand, and everybody hated to see it torn down. And believe me, there isn't anybody that hated to see it go more than the people on the fair board did. And we caught some static over that, but it was condemned from the state of Illinois, and it wasn't safe, and it couldn't be used anymore, and that was the reason that it was torn down. And so that was one thing that we felt strongly about, getting a lid back over the top of that thing. People asked us for it. It wasn't that we didn't want to do it, but boy, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Everything's always a lot.
And it has to be engineered. It has to be signed off on by the safety inspectors.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that went into that lid being back on there, but going back to what you said about the horse races back in the day and the old grandstand and people being able to enjoy them, well, we have them. We have a lid over that grandstand again now. We're very proud of it. It looks nice, and it's some shelter for, I think the racetrack people are probably very excited that we did that for their patrons as well, but for the people in the horse races and to enjoy the events of the county fair, why I think it's is a very nice addition.
You know, the old American Legion Band made a huge contribution to the evening horse shows. They would play in the center of the ring in front of the grandstand, and they'd have little fences around it. And they always had it decorated nicely, you know, little potted plants and so forth. And the Legion Band would play as entertainment during the course of the evening horse show. Again, people didn't have much money in those days in the early going, and it was a very inexpensive night's entertainment. Again, it's times of the past. That's what it is. Yeah.
Well, we're excited to have Lone Star this year. They're you know, coming up a week from Friday, on Friday, August 5th, the country band Lone Star is going to be there. For the amount of money that it takes to put these shows on, it will baffle your mind. But we couldn't even attempt this without the help of our sponsors. We have about 12 different sponsors that have chimed in a significant amount of money to make this happen, and for that we are very grateful. It takes a lot of money to put something like that on. So the Lone Star, the group, has had 10 number ones in their existence, and we've got the local band still kicking that opened up for us last year. We heard a lot of good things there. A little gal from Williamsville, Illinois, is the lead singer there, and they're just a great, they bring quite a following with them as well. So we're excited to have them, and we're very excited that the sponsors, I can't say enough good about the sponsors that have helped us do this. So
that's a very important backing, because without them, nothing's going to work.
Well, without them, we wouldn't even be talking about Lone Star, but we wouldn't even be talking about a country music group. So there's no way you could even attempt to do something like that without the backing of those sponsors.
I don't know Lone Star from Shooting Star. They're a big draw.
You bet.
Now, Judith, does the name Homer and Jethro mean anything to you?
Well, yeah.
Not to Dave, I don't imagine. Well, they were entertainers of note at the time, and they'd had the Harmonicats here. And one of the big entertainments they had here was they had a young fellow by the name of Dave Merrifield, who did trapeze and aerial acts underneath a trapeze flown by a helicopter up and down in front of the grandstand. This young guy was up there doing all sorts of trapeze stuff. Big deal.
I'll bet it was.
I mean, it really was.
I'm too young to remember that.
No, well, no.
I remember seeing Billy Ray Cyrus out there, and Reba McEntire.
That's right.
And Roy Clark.
Yes.
You know, I was so impressed with his program.
Classic.
Who? He was classy. You want Lassie? Oh, I thought you said Roy Clark was classy. My hearing,
we did have
isn't what it used to be.
That's exactly right. Lassie was a draw, by God.
Oh, sure, sure. And another group that should be recognized always are all the superintendents and all they put into it.
Absolutely.
Which is a load. And some of those people historically have held those offices for years and years and years. Every year they're out there and they're working their little selves to death.
Yeah.
And their assistants, and of course they're all volunteers just like you are.
Yes, the volunteers are unbelievable. I mean, you know, we talk about the sponsors. Without them, the concert couldn't go on. But without the volunteers, we may as well shut the doors to the place, because we have an appreciation dinner for the volunteers every year, and we had over 100 people at the appreciation dinner, and I know there's more than that are invited, but we sure appreciate all their help and everything they do, because without them it just wouldn't go on. There's countless hours of work and weigh-ins and scheduling and catalogs and the announcers and the show ring people and all the help that those people give, and there again, I don't mean to harp on the point here, but all these people that we're talking about during this week have jobs.
Right.
And they're taking their time off of their jobs and their busy schedules to help us with this fair and make this thing work and make it go on, and it's a wonderful thing.
Two people that always took their vacation at fair time ran the ticket booth. And that was the Armburst.
You bet.
And
that's right.
Marilyn and Dave knew that ticket booth inside and out.
Unbelievable countless hours of
oh, my word.
volunteer work there. And
yes.
of course, those two people are still around, and even though they've excused themselves from that, I guarantee you they're still out there and helping. So
you bet.
They, we just can't thank those people enough for what they do for the fair.
The Logan County Fair was a modest, very modest source of income for this old guy from its inception until he went away to school as a high school kid. We sold programs and Coke for Jimmy Vaughn's Coca-Cola bottling company. Go out there and report. Wilbur Lehman reported to him, and he'd give us X number of programs to sell, and when we sell it, we have to go back and get more. And I think our commission was 2 cents a program. I'm not certain about that. And but we hustled, and there were a dozen of us. So
I wish I was a little older to know. I didn't know Wilbur Lehman at all, but I knew W.G. Colburn, obviously, from growing up.
Paul Cochran?
Growing up in Beeson, and I didn't know Paul.
Gracious! I tell you,
I wish I had some recordings of some of the stories I've heard about W.G. Colburn. What a man! But I'm sad to say that we couldn't tell a lot of them on the radio, I don't think. But,
well, that's exactly correct. And he and the two Wilburs were true. Seriously, they were the Logan County Fair in the early days, along with numerous volunteers.
Sure.
But they were both very smart in their particular areas of
and dedicated,
responsibility, and very dedicated.
Oh my.
They were icons, and they were also funny when they got together.
Yeah.
We've been reminiscing a little bit about the Logan County Fair, and before we close, Dave, I think it might be appropriate to review what we have going on here next week. We've got a lot of great entertainment. You did mention the fact that the arts and crafts part of the building at the south side of the fair there, a lot of people put a lot of time on getting that ready. So why don't you sum up just a little bit here for us?
Well, I'll just do a quick recap, if I may. Tuesday night, next Tuesday night, will be our Fair Queen pageant. That's the first night of the fair. I will give a little plug to Miss Bethany Ray. My golly, what a wonderful queen she's been. I think she's been the most active queen we've ever had. She came to one or two of the board meetings, genuinely interested in the fair and what it is and what we do. And one of the most rewarding things, I think, for us as fair board members was to listen to her talk at one of the fair meetings about her involvement at the other fairs, county fairs that she goes to. That's part of the Queen's, what they do is go to other county fairs and promote our county fair. And makes you feel very good when she comes back and says, you know what, we do have the biggest, cleanest, and the best county fair in Illinois after visiting all those others. So
I bet you could have kissed her on the cheek when you said that.
It makes you feel good because and it probably makes her feel better and have more pride and be more excited about promoting our fair when she goes and sees the others and really sees how nice ours is. So that's Tuesday night, the Fair Queen pageant. Wednesday are the scrambles, the 4-H scrambles, the chicken scramble, the calf scramble, the pig scramble. Great entertainment.
Oh gosh, yes.
Thursday is tractor pulls, so we'll have the first
that's become a big thing.
First session of the tractor pulls, and Daryl Everston and his people do a wonderful job with that. And Friday's the concert, the Lone Star concert, and then Saturday, second round of the tractor pulls. Sunday, I believe at noon, I have my schedule here, but in front of the grandstand this year on Sunday, we're going to have the mud bogs. We had the mud bogs at the south end of the infield last year. Starts at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is the mud bogs in front of the grandstand. That'll be a $5 admission, but if you've never seen those before, they're a bunch of souped up, jacked up trucks that go raising cane through a mud pit, and it's fun.
Totally tear up your
That's
right. That's right. It's a lot of fun, and then of course that night is the demo derby at 6 o'clock. So
it finishes tearing up the track.
That's right. That's right. But one other plug, if I may, Bob Thomas and his people at the fairgrounds, the maintenance crew, Penny and her staff in the office. Those are people that put in countless hours, and I love those people to death, but I wouldn't want to live with them that whole week, because there would be some grouchy people probably there, that the hours and the time that they put in. But I can't say enough good about Bob Thomas and his crew, and Penny and the girls in the office, and what they do for the fair, and how smoothly things run. And it may seem in disarray a little bit if you're on the inside of it, but you know what? If you're on the outside looking in, everything gets done, everything looks nice, and everything runs smoothly. So we're very lucky to have those people.
The sum of many parts coming together to make it a success. You know, we talked about premiums and awards and the failing this and so forth. Charles F. Kettering, a great industrialist, said, "The only time you mustn't fail is the last time you try." Thank you for Viewpoint.
Well, that